Today, let's talk about our family and household budget. Yeah, that's right. Today we're going to talk about our family and household budget. And I know I'm getting super excited about that, but that's just me. I'm a nerd. I actually create all these budgets. And typically when you're in a couple, you have two types of people. One, the nerd, and two, you have the free spirit, who is somebody who just goes, just tell me what it is and I'll move on, who sometimes blows up the budget. So we need to make sure that we're engaged when we get to it. And we'll get to that a little bit in this video. But what's a family and a household budget? Well, that's basically a list of all the items we need to fund with our pay. Yeah, that's right. We have electricity, we have insurance, we have mortgages, some of us, we have vehicle payments, we have, fuel, we have insurance on those, we have clothing, we have haircuts. I mean, we have lots of things we have to list on there, including the groceries. Okay? We list everything out that we can fund. And here's the other thing. We're going to do this with paper and pencil for the first couple times because it needs to register a lot of pain. And now you're not going to get it right the first couple times. And that's okay. We just get better as time goes on. So give yourself a little bit of grace. Have those meetings with your spouse and you'll be fine. Now, how can we actually execute this really well? Well, we actually instituted using Excel because I can use it on my Mac and I can use it on a PC, whatever I want to use, and I can load it up into a Google Drive and we can see it at any time on our phones too. So that way when we're going to the bank, we know how much money to take out. We're not having to carry our computers with us or print off a spreadsheet that people could see. We actually use technology. And there's tons of budgeting apps out there, but I'm old school and I use Excel. And I'll show you how to get that later. Now, we want to go through and list everything out. So if you're the nerd, great. Get to work and actually list everything out that we're going to need to spend. And you're going to find out that there's a few other things that you need to do. Okay? You're going to need to list out some other items that you missed. And that's what the free spirit's going to do. Maybe she has an expensive hair color coming up, or she needs massages or nails or whatever it is. You also want to make sure that you put in some blow money that you guys can go and spend because you got to have a little bit of fun. But budgets are actually freeing. That's right. Each one of us, my wife and myself, get a clothing budget that we can go buy whatever it is we want. And that is our money to go spend. And neither one of us gets to criticize the other person for what they spent their money on. It's theirs. So budgets are actually pretty good. We want to make sure that we have that kind of relationship where we can express things, we can talk about vacations or futures, whatever it is we want to do, but let's put it down on paper so we can plan for it. Because when people don't have a plan, they perish and they go into more and more debt. We don't want to be in debt. We want to be financially free. Because all the millionaires and billionaires out there, 99% of them didn't inherit their nest eggs. They did it by budgeting. Yeah, I know, the fun thing called budgeting. It's a process, just like working out. You don't wake up, do one workout, and magically have a six-pack. You have to eat disciplined, you have to work out disciplined, you gotta wake up earlier, you gotta do these things to be successful. So you're gonna have to do that financially as well. What do we need to list on there? Basically everything that you think is important. If you have kids, you gotta list out kids items like activities, clothing, whatever it is, because they're gonna grow. And sometimes we're gonna grow in our ways, so we need to make sure that we have clothing budgets too. Now, talking about groceries, I wanna stop right here. Did you know that most people spend about 25% more by just swiping a credit card? Yeah, that's right. That's a problem. Actually, McDonald's did a study back in the 80s or 90s where they actually instituted using credit cards at some of their places to see the buying habits. Because people would buy, typically with cash, a small fry, small Coke, and a hamburger. Well, when they started seeing people swiping a credit card, which registers less pain up here, well, they were actually spending more, getting the medium fries or large fries, large Coke, and an apple pie, because it actually registered less pain, there's more freeing. That's why we have our cell phones that we can actually pay for, because making less friction, people will spend more. That's what the big organizations that have the bigger buildings than our houses actually study, how we buy. So I use cash for 99% of our stuff. Now, I will tell you, we use a debit card account for gas. Being in the Midwest where it gets really cold, and with the gas prices changing, we put in a little bit more so that way we're not affected as much by it, and we can just swipe that card. But it's a debit card, so it punches the account. It takes that money right out of there right away. So it's not like a credit card that we forget to pay off that we got to pay extra interest on. It's a debit card. And that's all we use it for, is our gas and oil changes. So we need to list everything out and make sure we have that plan and have that meeting with our significant other. And anything that is going to cost us big, let's budget on what we're going to need to spend on it, get some quotes, and put it into the plan so we can pay for it in enough time. Like maybe it's a roof, okay? Commercial buildings understand they have this thing called a sinking fund where they basically put a little bit of money every month and know that they're going to be replacing a roof after so many years, so that way when it's time to replace a roof, it's already funded. That's what we're doing for all of our other things, whether it's vacations or Christmas budget for gifts. We need to make sure that we're line iteming all those things out. If we do so, we're going to be successful, and then we can get into investing and getting super successful so we can actually retire and not work for the rest of our lives in a job that we might not like. So let's go through and do a budget. Now, if you have any questions about budgets or like my Excel spreadsheet that I've done, go ahead and email me at kevin@kevinsidebottom.com. Let me know what you need help with. Be glad to help you. That's what I'm here for. We'll see you next time.